So looking at the box, you can see it is white. It is covered in cling film, which is nice, keeps the blocks nice and clean, which we're going to remove now. The motors that are inside the box is for a 7-inch size frame, and the number on the motor is a 2806.5 and is 1800 kV. Sorry. So opening the box up, you can see by opening it, you're pushing it through rather than opening it a traditional way. Inside the box, we got a bluish green motor. This is the only color they do at the moment for a 7-inch style motor. The overall quality of the motor, I think, is pretty good. The only drawback I see is the motor wires are a bit crinkly, but other than that, it's great. The bearings are nice and smooth as well, which is also great. And the overall finish of the motor, I think, is pretty good quality. So what comes in the box other than the motor, we got your traditional nut screw and a couple other bolts. We do get a O-ring as well, a spare O-ring, and a very small shim as well, which I'm not sure what it's for. It could be inside for spares. So taking a quick look at the motor, it is a nice motor. The only drawback I can see from this is the top bell housing. It could do with a circle disc to support the prop, but other than that, it looks like a great motor. And the motor wires, if I really wanted to be picky as well, they are a bit, they're a bit stuffed in the box, so they come crinkly. But other than that, great. So let's talk about these motors. So here we have the Meps motor mounted to the CHIMERA frame, and we have the 1800 kV variant. They do these in 1300 kV as well, as I stated earlier. The motors that came off this frame were the 1800 kV motors from iFlight. This is the first generation CHIMERA 7 as well, not the newer one. So how do these motors perform? The original motors were on here with the CHIMERA 7 Zing motors, the first version of this frame as well. So they were 1800 kV, and these motors are 1800 kV. So why did I choose 1800 kV? I like the fast pace of the CHIMERA 7 with the 1800 kV. I do have another frame here which is on 1500 kV, and to be honest I prefer the higher kV motor for the faster pace flying. But comparing the two together, I think the performance is very similar, to be honest. There really isn't much difference in them, because at the end of the day they're both 1800 kV and the shape and size of the motor is very similar. So what is the quality like on these motors? Overall I think they are great. There's no major flaws within the motors that I can see. The only drawback that I could see comparing it to the Zing motors, which is right next to the motor, with a Zing motor you can see there's sort of a round disc supporting the prop, and then within that round disc you have raised areas that actually cut into the prop to prevent it from slipping. With the Meps motors you don't have any of this. The area that actually supports the prop is mainly flat, and it does question whether the prop is going to slip. From my testing I could not see any prop slip at all. Mostly the nut is going to do most of the work by the looks of it, but other than that the quality is very similar to Zing motors. I can't see any major defects or anything like that. But when I did get them in the box, the motor wires were a bit, they were a bit stuffed in the box. With the Zing motors, they're nice and smooth, there's no crinkles in them. But it would be a nice in future, future motors that they come in better boxes where the motors are not just stuffed in. So would I recommend these motors? Definitely. I don't see anything major wrong with them. They perform just as well as the iFlight motors that were originally on this frame. The only drawback, they only come in one color at the moment, and they come in 1300 kV and 1800 kV. Like I said earlier, the only drawback that I could see from the design is the fact that there wasn't a round disc on the center of the hub to support the prop. But I'm not seeing any issues at all with it slipping, so that's great. There is a lot of mixed views on these motors online as well. I'm seeing a few people, dish out abuse towards the company because of the contract agreements and all that. But I was sent these motors originally. They wanted to send me the 5-inch motors, and I turned the offer down. But they come back to me with these 7-inch motors, and I thought I'd take up the offer and see what they're about. And overall, the motor is great. Is a motor at the end of the day. And I went with the 1800 kV because I like the high speed of the CHIMERA 7 on these kV motors. The other frame I got, which you've already seen, is this one, and these are running on Brother Hobby 1500 kV, and the only thing that I dislike about this is the speed of it, which lets it down. It is nowhere near as fast as the CHIMERA 7, which is partly my fault at the end of the day, because I'm running 1500 kV motors on here and they are 3008s. So if I were to choose between the Meps motor and the Brother Hobby motors for a 7-inch, I would definitely choose the Meps over these. So if that's anything to consider. But yeah, definitely, if you need a 7-inch motor and you want a fast 7-inch, then this is the motor to go for. Right, so that's about it with the Meps motors. Future video as well, I got this to show you. This is going to be my next build. It is a 5-inch frame. It's from Two Roll Aerials. I did mention it in my last video that I'm going to be doing a build video on this. I look excited to build this. It's a very unique design. So hopefully you'll see that in the next video. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.